Welcome back to MCC 23 Team Guides. Make sure you watch the first video to see the first 5 teams, because today we'll be tackling the last 5. Cyan Coyotes. Cyan's top game by far is big sales at BuildMart. Every single player scores at or well above their personal average, making them the top team in the event. Though JoJo is yet to play BuildMart in a canon event, we've seen her strength in this game before, with her team placing 1st in MCC Rising and 3rd in MCC Pride. With Scott taking the helm as manager for this team, Cyan could definitely excel in BuildMart. 2 other games are worth highlighting for Cyan, both of them being movement games, Hole in the Wall and Rocket Spleef Rush. For both of those games, JoJo is certainly the star player, with these being her 2 best games. However, she's not alone as a movement powerhouse. Pearl scores consistently above her average in Hole in the Wall and Scott in Rocket Spleef Rush. The only player who struggles with these 2 games is False, with both of them being below her personal average. Improvements from False in these 2 games could see Cyan going from a strong movement team to an incredibly strong movement team. One interesting thing to note is how similar Cyan's strengths are to another team, the Purple Pandas. In fact, if Cyan make Dodgebolt, there's an 88% chance that their opponent is purple. In both of their ideal game orders, Rocket Spleef Rush, BuildMart, and Hole in the Wall are played in the second half. The main game that Cyan should aim to get played late in order to pass purple is BattleBox. Though both yellow and pink outscore Cyan, Cyan average more than 150 coins above purple in BattleBox. Therefore, playing this on a 2.5 or 3 times multiplier could be the push Cyan needs to overtake purple. The distributions for this team look rather optimistic, with their most common placement being 2nd and only a 10% chance of placing in the bottom half. In addition to getting their best games played late, skipping some of their weaker games such as Sands of Time, Parkour Tag, and Survival games should help push them into Dodgebolt. A quick reminder that only 29% of viewers are subscribed, so if you enjoy this video and want to see more, like it, then please subscribe as it really helps out our channel. Aqua Axolotls. Like many Puns teams, Aqua are a team that love survival game finales. Puns is one of the top SG players in MCC 23, averaging 100 coins above his personal average. Every other player is above average in this game also, leading to Aqua being the 2nd best SG team in the event, only behind Yellow. It is important to note though that these stats may be skewed slightly, particularly by Sniff, who has only played SG once. With the random nature of SG, playing it late is always risky, but it may be what this team needs. Grid Runners is somewhat similar for its unpredictability, but it's also a strong game for this team. If they feel confident in their comms, getting it played late could be a good idea. The other game that Aqua really want to play late is Ace Race. Puns and Bad both score significantly above their personal averages, with Sylvie scoring slightly below and Sniff scoring quite a bit below. It is worth noting though that Sniff has only played Ace Race once back in MCC 22, and Ace Race is always a difficult game the first time you play. If Ace Race is played, Aqua also want one map in particular, Space Race. Bad has placed top 10 on this map before, Sylvie in the top 5, and Puns has placed 1st individually. If other maps are played, their Ace Race score could drop, but they likely still have a solid performance. For Aqua, their worst game is BattleBox, being the lowest scoring team in the event. We've chosen not to include statistics from the BattleBox remix due to very different mechanics, leaving Snifferish and Bad with scores significantly below their personal averages. The person to watch out for if BattleBox is played has to be Sylvie. BattleBox is her 3rd best game, and since MCC 18 she hasn't dropped out of the top 8 individually for it. Add on to that her recent mechanical improvement in PvP, and she could be exactly what Aqua need to perform well in BattleBox. Though Aqua's distribution sees them most commonly placing in 7th, there is still a slim chance for them to place as high as 1st, given the right game order. Many teams have beaten the odds before, and so with some luck on their side and solid performances, Aqua certainly could win it all. Blue Bats. While the Blue Bats don't have too much experience playing together, their best game is still a team game, Sands of Time. This is highlighted by SB737, who has the highest Sands of Time average for this event with 524 coins. Something else to note is that Sneaksnag is the only player on Blue whose Sands of Time average is lower than his personal average, but that is largely in part to his team failing to bank any coins in his first ever event. Blue is also the 2nd strongest Ace Race team, with SB once again leading the team with his 413 coin average. While his 3rd place in MCC 14 was partially due to map issues, he has still placed 15th and 4th the 2 times he's played Python's Crypt. CaptainSparklez and Sneaksnag are also very consistent, with neither of them placing below 17th this season. However, Kara genuinely struggles with Ace Race, as it is her worst game on average. On the other hand, one game Blue definitely wants to avoid playing late is Sky Battle. Every player places below their personal average, giving them the lowest team average this event. What's worth noting though is that this team has seen strong performances here before, with SB and CaptainSparklez getting 8th and 9th during MCC 20. Another one of Blue's worst games is riiru, with CaptainSparklez being the only player to place above his personal average. It is worth noting though that he's played it the most out of any Blue member, only 3 times. Skipping this is definitely in Blue's best interest. Blue's distribution has a wide range, with a possibility of placing anywhere except 10th, and a most common placement of around 6th. Sands of Time and Ace Race, 2 of their best games, are often played late. Add on to that a second half build mart, and Blue definitely can make it to Dodgebolt. Purple Pandas. The PeteZahHutt duo has been hyped up for a long time, due to their strength in 2 games, Rush and Hole in the Wall. In Rush, every player bar G scores significantly above their average, with it being Pete, Phil and Joel's best game. All of this results in Purple having a remarkable average of 1,521 coins in Rush, 57% higher than the event average and almost 250 coins higher than the second highest scoring team. This is the game which Purple absolutely want as a finale. Similarly, Hole in the Wall is an above average game for Phil and Pete, as well as a slightly below average game for G and Joel. Phil has been slightly inconsistent in Hole in the Wall though, as throughout Season 2 he's placed as high as 2nd and as low as 36th. A stronger performance could be all that Purple need to guarantee a first in this game. However, just as there are high scoring games, there must also be low scoring ones. Sands of Time is one of their worst games, with Purple scoring 12% below the event average. This lower average largely comes from the inconsistency of many players on Purple. Every single player bar Joel has been locked in at least once this season, and Pete is known for often playing rather risky if Sands of Time is played late, resulting in either high scoring performances or deaths. However, every player on this team has also had strong Sands of Time performances this season, so they certainly can go against these stats. Grid Runners and Sky Battle are the other 2 games that Purple want to avoid. If they do get played, their greatest asset is PeteZahHutt. In Sky Battle, despite not scoring highly himself, Pete is amazing at setting up his teammates to score highly, with Martin in MCC 20 and Grian in both MCC 17 and 19 being a perfect example of this. In Grid Runners, Pete also recently led his team to victory in MCC 21 after a dose of VOD reviewing. Working with G as a Grid Runners leader alongside some more VOD reviewing could certainly help this team to exceed expectations. Purple is the strongest team in the event according to our distributions, making Dodgebolt more than 75% of the time, and very rarely dropping out of the top 5. Rush or Hole in the Wall being played early could certainly make their path to Dodgebolt more difficult, but this team is definitely one to watch out for regardless of game order. Pink Parrots. The Pink Parrots are one of the more interesting teams this event, as most of Blushy and Aimsy's MCC experience comes from non-canon events, with this actually being Aimsy's first canon event. Therefore, his stats from MCC Rising and MCC Pride 2022 will be used to calculate his game averages. Interestingly, Pink's best game is Battle Box, where they're only 12 coins behind the top team, Yellow. Aimsy and Blushy each got top 15 in their lone Battle Box appearances, with Aimsy getting 9th in MCC Pride and Blushy 12th in MCC 22. Meanwhile, Ranboo has the second highest Battle Box average this event, as he's only ever missed the game's top 10 during the remixed version in MCC 21, peaking at 2nd in MCC 22 with an 8 out of 9 performance alongside Wilbur. The team should also be eyeing a late to get to the other side, where each player scores above their personal average. What's interesting to note though is that while Blushy has the highest to get to the other side average on this team, it can largely be pointed to the fact she's only played it once in a canon event, placing 16th in MCC 22. Looking at some of Pink's worst games, 2 that definitely stand out are Rush and Meltdown, where they rank worst in the event for both games. The low Meltdown score can be attributed to it only being played once before, where Wilbur and Ranboo were on the last place team. When it comes to Rush, Blushy came 37th, lone time she played it. Wilbur's never placed top half, and Aimsy has never played it. While Ranboo's 3 placements have been 17th, 14th and 14th, it unfortunately isn't enough to lift the team's average. Pink's distribution shows them not placing higher than 5th, with 9th being their most likely finish. However, it's worth noticing that Pink tends to be rather inconsistent with individual placements. While stats may not suggest it, every player on this team has shown that they are capable of crazy performances, such as Wilbur placing 35th in MCC 14 but 10th the very next event. If Pink can play to their strengths and get a strong game order, they could defy the odds on their way to Dodgebolt.